Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best. We are here to go over 90 Day The Single Life. This is season 5, episode 9, titled The Active Monkey Bird. My goodness, my goodness. Welcome to everybody who is here and watching. Happy Tuesday if you are watching on April the 7th when this video has premiered. If you are watching after April 7th, I hope you are having a great day, a great week, a great evening, whatever time it may be. Let's take a moment before we fully get into the video and the review. I always encourage everybody to see the links in the description of this video. There are links to other great Black creators, as well as co-hosts I work with often, such as James from Watch Your Mouth Reviews, Kiwan JTV, and Shayna_MCDTV, and more. But other than that, I also hope that everybody considers liking the video. If you like what we do, subscribe. Welcome to all of our new subscribers. Welcome, Thug Life. I appreciate you guys more than you know. Other than that, I thank everybody for watching, and we welcome everybody in. Now, this season of The Single Life is so up and down, y'all. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, there are times that I am bored, and then there are times that I'm entertained. And I think what it is Sophie. I'm so tired of Sophie, so I don't really care for any scene with her. Julia can't really do much and just follow Sophie around. You know, Liz is moving oddly and has been kind of MIA. Like, Colt and Courtney, I don't think any of us are surprised by what happened with them. Vanya and Gino are living in their independent worlds of delusion. And Kim is kind of carrying the season. But when I think of Kim's storyline with these adoptive kids that she's trying to find, it doesn't give me carrying the season in a way that makes sense for a show about being single. It gives more of maybe give Kim her own little show or something like that. But let's get into this. We're going to start with Sophie, Julia, Liz, and Pedro, who will not be in this episode today. Now, these mean bitches, okay? These mean heifers decide that they want to meet with Liz. Because if we last remember, we've seen a lot of Sophie. We got a little bit of Liz a couple episodes ago, but they haven't filmed together or been hanging out ever since the big blow up over Pedro. So Sophie was upset with Liz because Pedro came up to Liz and was basically like, why is your friend acting different now that I'm out here? And Liz was trying to look out for Sophie and was like, oh, she's just, you know, newly single and wanting to be careful. I wouldn't take it personal. Liz took that because Pedro stopped talking to her Sophie took that as Liz interfering with her and Pedro's relationship versus looking at it for what it is, which is your shallow games, Sophie, do not work with everybody. And honestly, the men that probably will commit, they're not going to want to play that game. But Sophie has had 4 days, she says, to calm down, and she feels like she did do a little too much with Liz. So I just feel like y'all really try to blame Liz for your behavior. But Liz agrees to meet with them. Liz eventually shows up, and, you know, Sophie says to her that she feels like she needs to apologize. She also says, if, you know, I hurt you or this and that, ain't no if, you know, you hurt that girl's feelings. She was sitting there in tears and you sat there and harassed her, bullied her. She had gotten a car and was leaving, and Sophie was still coming after her, looking for her to curse her out and stuff. Like, you don't do I'm sorry if. No, you take full accountability, Miss Plastic. That's what you need to do. I'm starting to wonder now. I need to go rewatch Sophie's season of 90 Day Fiancé because maybe she's the reason she's single. My goodness. And then word on the curb, from what I'm seeing in these TLC streets from you wonderful fans who have been watching more dedicated and longer than I have, is that Sophie's mom is just as bad as Lydia, Pedro's mom. So I'm looking at Sophie like, is everything you're dealing with like your karma? Because you lack accountability so much. But at least she apologizes. Liz accepts her apology. And for whatever reason, Liz apologizes also. Because she was like, you know, Liz seems to understand how it looks, but I truly believe that Liz did not mean any harm or malice towards Sophie. I don't think she meant anything bad. Like, Liz really seemed to just want to come out there and live her best life. They make peace, and of course, Liz asked about Pedro to make sure they're still doing good. And Liz finds out that Pedro's family done gone crazy on Sophie, and Sophie don't know if she want to deal with him because of all the kookiness from his parents, which I think we can all kind of understand. Now, what kind of irritated me is I'm like, Sophie's been, BSing this whole time. And this is where she announces that there's a guy that she's been seeing on the internet, on social media, who's like really attractive in the Dominican Republic, all of this crazy type of stuff, right? Which I'm like, do you, boo? You single. But now you want to go meet with this new guy. You're off of Pedro. That's what I'm thinking. But based on the preview that we're going to get from next week, it looked like Liz forgot to tell Pedro that she's off of him, because the last time Liz and Pedro left off in that last episode, it was her saying not Liz and Pedro, Lord, Sophie and Pedro, she was telling Pedro like she needs some time after having to deal with his family, which if anybody watched The Family Chantel or follow Pedro and Chantel's journey on 90 Day Fiance, you know that while Chantel and Pedro were both at fault for their marriage, Pedro's family played the bigger part in terms of the negative that broke that marriage. Okay. So we'll see what happens with them. But later on, we see Liz and Sophie have a talk together, and it seems there is another man that Liz has. And I'm looking at Liz and I'm like, listen, I'm not mad at you. After being with Big Ed, I say go be with whoever you want to be. You have earned that right, Liz. However, you don't need to move slimy. Why are we just now hearing that you have someone that you dated after that guy that you got pregnant by? You have somebody that you dated that you care about back in the States. It sounds like Liz is not single, and like her and her dude may be in a bad space or maybe on a break or a pause. But it's very strange that you come on a show called 90 Day to Single Life. And it would be one thing if she was like Julia, just happy to have a girls trip or looking to support a friend. But Liz has been out there trying to live her best life, talk about she's falling for this Dominican gentleman that's Pedro's friend. And you got some work back home, Miss Liz? Lord help us. Lord help us. How do you guys feel about that? Because I kind of feel like that's a little bit shady, Liz. Like you sitting up here acting like you falling for this one boy and you got somebody else at home. So maybe that's why, Sophie, Liz don't got time to get involved with you and Pedro. She got her own problems. She got people at home. She trying to hide it some more stuff. God help us. But we later see Liz go on a date with, I think his name is Villa. I never catch his full name. The boy in the Dominican Republic who's Pedro's friend. Liz goes on a date with him, and they've really been getting into it. Like at first I thought maybe Pedro's friend would play her, but he genuinely seems interested in Liz. And I'm like, Liz is like, I need to tell him the truth. So Liz tells him that she has someone back at home. And, Via didn't take it well, but he was realistic. He was like, what you're saying doesn't make sense. You say that you are on a girls singles trip, but then you're also saying that you have someone at home. It sounds like you're not single when you're at home. So he doesn't like that part. And for whatever reason, Liz gets emotional and runs off. And I was happy to watch Via sit there. I said, you better not chase her, buddy, because the way that she went about telling him is ridiculous. Like, if you're going to date someone and you know that things are heating up, why are you kissing this man, Liz, when you know you have someone back at home? And then you're doing it in front of a television. So let's say it doesn't work with Via and she goes back home and it's like, then I'm gonna stay with that person. And then that person's like, I don't want to deal with you because I watched you on 90 Day the Single Life kissing this man. I feel like in the end, it's going to be a lose-lose for Liz. I do. And it's unfortunate, but she kind of did it to herself. If any of these gentlemen still choose to deal with her, no shade, I will think that the reason is because of the cameras. Like, I will just automatically assume they like a camera and want to be in front of a camera and like being part of the moment. I'm going to assume that, because what else can I do? Right? If you are still here, you guys, I do appreciate you for watching. It means a lot. I'm a tiny creator and I appreciate the views, the support, the comments. I don't bite. Feel free to leave a comment. Feel free also to make a suggestion if there's a show that you would like me to cover on the channel. If you're not comfortable commenting in the comments, a show you'd like me to go over. You can also look on my profile page here on YouTube. You can email me. You can DM me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, however you are comfortable. But we're always taking suggestions and things for this channel because we will be adding a lot of new and different types of content in the coming days, beautiful people. But we're going to get into Vanya and Tony. Vanya and Tony are finally in a relationship after Vanya pretty much strong-armed this man into being in a relationship with her. Because I believe if a man wants you, you're not going to have to like convince him of asking you to be his girlfriend, putting a label on it. Like if a man wants you, he gonna label you up real quick, sis. I promise you he will. But she's discussing Tony's anger with her friend / cousin Canella, and she feels like Tony blew up on her about Canella and Tony's communication. So the last we saw, it was Vanya's cousin asking Tony some questions, and yes, the question showed that she knew a little bit about Tony, but I felt like Tony's anger was a little bit much because why would you not expect for a woman that you're dating to not tell like her best friend about you? Like you cannot get mad at that. And he seemed upset at that. But I guess he blew up, hung up on Vanya, and all these things happened. And her friend is looking at him now like, okay, maybe he's controlling or has an anger problem, which I would look at him that way also because it's like you kind of expect people to do that. Like when I got with my husband, his male friends like had questions for me. Like sometimes people just want to check and make sure when they're meeting the spouse of like someone they care about. Sometimes the people who care about them just want to make sure that it's the right person for their loved one. And I really don't see the problem with that. I genuinely do not see the problem with that. But Tony is bothered, upset, and in my opinion, he's acting like a big ass baby. And we see the two go on a little date later on. They were supposed to do this sport activity, but they said because of thunder and lightning, it was not possible. So they decided to just walk along the water. And you could tell that Tony was irritated that this activity was not available. I mean, one, he's a Florida boy, so he probably likes being outdoors. That's one thing I love about people from Florida. They enjoy being outside and they utilize the beauty of their state. I will give them that. But two, it looked like he just really did not want to deal with Vanya. And I'm kind of looking at that like Tony is a red flag. He's a sweaty ass red flag because that man loves to sweat because you had a small blow up that you made big, Tony, off of something that was really kind of small. So if you're going to blow up about something as small as this, what will happen when y'all have a real argument about some real stuff that's not the best? You know what I'm trying to say, y'all? Like, I feel like Tony's anger will become a problem, or he'll always feel like he was forced into the relationship or something crazy like that, if that makes sense. But they talk and Vanya broke down. I mean, she was boohoo sobbing. I said, Vanya, you doing too damn much. But maybe that's why she got to get permanent makeup, because maybe she cries a lot and the makeup probably just be running all down her face. So she said, F it, I'm going to get the shit tattooed. Maybe that's why she did that. But she breaks down and she lets Tony know like that hanging up on her and making a big deal of small things is extremely difficult for her to deal with. She also lets him know that like this is not what she expects in a relationship. Vanya has a bad habit of bringing up her past and putting it onto her current. I think we all kind of use the past as a way to navigate the current and the present. But Vanya almost does it in a way that seems like she's trying to guilt him. And I kind of feel like, Vanya, you can't tell him what you went through in the past, expect him to care, give a damn, and change stuff instantly. And then you're expecting this man to react differently. But it's like you begged him to be with you. He wasn't going to ask you to be his girlfriend that day. You literally talked him into a corner where he had nowhere else to go. That's what it looked like to me. And now y'all are an item. But I just don't feel like this man would have been with her if she didn't like talk him into it. And let me know if you guys feel different. And it's sad because I think Vanya is great. She's a beautiful lady. She seems to have a great personality. And I just think she goes all in too fast, if it makes sense, with relationships. And I don't think as a woman, she understands the art of being chaste. Like, men can sense when you so doggone thirsty. But Vanya feels like Tony is becoming a different person in the relationship now that she's with him. And in my opinion, I think she needs to work on herself and has a lot of trauma from the past. But I also feel like Vanya, even though you have trauma from the past, still listen to that discernment and your gut about the present, because Vanya was not wrong. Tony did too much. He did too much, girl. Stop giving him allowances. Like, I just cannot, Vanya. I'm a girl's girl, and I want her to see her worth. I want Vanya to see her value because she's dope. Shout out to anybody still here. I hope you like the video. Consider subscribing to the channel. You are greatly appreciated. We are going to get into awkward ass Gino and Natalie, because I don't understand what Natalie sees in Gino. I genuinely do not. But she's been at Gino's house and he's showing her around and they have a little kiss on the couch. And it seems she really likes him. Now, I don't know if y'all know, back when Gino was with Jasmine, word on the curb is that the light switch did not come on. If y'all get what I'm trying to say, it did not come on. So, you know, Natalie kisses Gino and she's like, come on, I want to go to bed. And Gino's dumbass is like, what? Already? It's a bit early. Oh, are you sure we're ready, Nat? Are you sure you want to go to bed? And she's like, Gino, I want to go to bed. I want to go to bed. And Gino's like, are you really that tired? And Nat is like, oh my God. Fool can't take a hint. I want to sleep with you. That's what Natalie wanted to holler it, but couldn't figure it out. Finally, he figured it out. And Gino made sure to explain to us, because you know he stays on social media because he cares about his appearance on social media. But Gino made sure that we all knew. He said he could not get it up for Jasmine because she was always screaming at him. But he said he's not going to have no problem with Natalie. We shall see, sir. We shall see. And that's all we got from Gino and Natalie this episode. I am patiently awaiting next week because I want to know if this man was able to get the job done. I want to know. I need to know. I have to know. I got to know. Now, the last people we're going to discuss for this episode, I feel like I'm acting a fool. Let me not do so much. Colt and Courtney are the last people that we're going to discuss. Not much is going on here. We're just watching a narcissistic sociopath kind of try to find ways to manipulate somebody into wanting to be with him. So Colt's bitch ass is sulking in the slop that he is, just a regularly walking, uncooked, sloppy Joe. Nasty looking. But he's laid up, crippled, can't move, cheating on people from somebody else's bedroom at their parents' house. And he's sulking about his choices he made. And he decides to call the other girl that is the reason why Courtney don't want to be with him, Diana, over in Brazil. And she looks sweet. She doesn't give like Larissa from Brazil. I don't know if everyone who's watching this watched Larissa and Colt years and years ago, but she doesn't give that type of energy. She definitely gives a sweet girl that Colt may need to stay away from. I actually worry for her. But Diana talks to Colt on the phone after he makes us feel he feels bad about Courtney. He's leaving Courtney a voicemail and then goes to call Diana. I said, Colt, you haven't learned shit. You're an absolute joke. And Diana says she feels stupid for believing that Colt could love her while he's been with this other girl because Courtney, I guess, hit up Diana. And Colt tells Diana that what happened is that he broke his leg. And he was supposed to be on his way to Brazil to be with Diana, but he broke his leg, y'all. And Colt told Diana that when he broke his leg, he ran into Courtney. And he ended up, because he needed help, going with Courtney, but then fell in love with her. He said, I love you both. I said, he ain't even cute enough to be macking like this. But he told Diana, I love you both. And, now that I'm not with her, would you still like me to still come to Brazil? I said, I know you fucking lying, Colt. Just ain't shit, never gonna be shit, never was shit. Like, that's Colt. That's all I got. He looks like a big pile of shit. He looks like the poop emoji, quite literally. But in my opinion, it just seems like Colt wants someone to take care of him because he had his mom living with him, and then he was living with girls, and then he was living with Courtney and her parents. And now that he's alone in that hotel, you would think that we would be watching him like try to apply for Canadian citizenship to go with his mama and her husband, or you think we'd be watching him like on the phone with in-home supportive services trying to get somebody to help him. Like, you think we'd see him trying to do something for himself. He can go to a sniff, he can go to respite. There's a lot he can do. But instead, he sits on his fat ass from that hotel couch messaging two different bitches on opposite sides of the world. And I cannot stand it. It makes my teeth itch in ways that I didn't know were possible. But when he asked that girl, Diana, if she, you know, still wants for Colt to come out to Brazil, she replies saying that she feels like his last option. And we don't see if that's actually going to happen. But Diana seems sweet. And I'm going to say this to any woman out there. I don't care what color you from, where you from, what you look like, how fine you think you are, how great you do makeup, any of that. If you feel like you are anybody's last option, walk away. Whether it's a friend, a family member, but especially in love and relationships, you should never feel like the last option. You should feel above the family and shit when it comes to that. So I felt kind of sad for her hearing her say that, because it was like, oh, like, you shouldn't feel that way. And it's unfortunate because it's like, we could read Colt for filth all we want. He don't give a flying fuck how any of us feel. Colt is going to move the way that he moves, and he's not going to stop. That's just what he's going to do. And I don't like that TLC keep giving him a platform. Like, there are lots of delusional, toxic people out there. Find somebody else. I'm tired of Colt. I don't want him no more. Please. What did Phaedra say? Go away from me with this Apollo. That is me with Colt. Go away from me with this Apollo Colt, please. But that was all that we got from this episode of 90 Day to Single Life. I really appreciate everybody who are supporting and watching these videos. It is a big transition. I started my YouTube channel doing only live streams, so it really does warm my little heart that people are watching our pre-record videos and care about our reviews, even when they're not live streamed. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. I am always on YouTube. My phone is literally always next to me. Let me know if there's something you want to cover. I'm available on social media, on Instagram, TikTok, as well as Facebook, YouTube, and by email. So hit me up, y'all. I believe the next live that I will have will be Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. That will be tomorrow. See the last posted post on my community tab for posts on my page. There is a schedule showing every single live that I will have on my channel this week. And I'll also be having some bonus content coming out this weekend. Specifically, I'll have a collaboration live on Saturday that will stream to my channel. And I might have some other stuff coming Sunday, such as a music sound check for those who subscribe to us for our music content. But other than that, love and light to everybody. I hope everyone has a good rest of your week. Good vibes, thug life, and I'll see you guys next time. Au revoir.